You gonna do the timer? Yeah, BT, yo. It's LL Cool J, baby, right now. Yo, in the building, LL Cool J got the beat. Yeah, Tales from the Gemini. My man BT said I can rock the ones and twos. I got my man Jay-Z with me. Jay, you ready, Jay? Yo, take it, Jay.
Yo, what's poppin'? Yo, it's your man Young H.O. in the building.
Yeah, Jay.
Y'all feel like spitting something real crazy right now while we chilling in the Indy. Yeah. I got bars for days.
Yeah.
These lyrics they pay.
Yeah, say it, Jay.
Really, I'm about the spokes.
Yeah.
Broken word, cause I cracked them jokes.
Yeah,
man.
say it, Jay. Come on, say it. I just got through lifting weights right now, Jay. I'm gonna go back to this one push-ups, Jay. Come on.
He's doing them diamond push-ups.
Yeah.
I see a girl, I'm on push-up.
Yeah.
It don't nothing where I'm with push-up. But I still get your weight up and stayed up. Inflatable. Yo, it keeps unrateable. Your girl's ugly, so she's undateable.
Yeah. I was gonna see if you could go longer than me because on our Sorry We're Cancelled podcast, which is one I do with my buddy Dion Curry, we always start off with a beat. And I always come in, and he's expecting me just to bust this rhyme. He goes, okay, here we go. And every time I sound like I'm gonna really get it, and I go maybe what, a line, and that's it. And he goes, okay, man, we're done. So yeah, Mouse makes me to see what you did, because you're a big hip hop head, right?
Oh, I love hip hop.
Who's your favorite?
Hip hop raised me. I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I have like some of my favorites were we were just talking, me and my boy X. Like LL. When I was coming up, LL was the dude that. Like run to, like I remember hearing Chris Rock say, "Yo, I wanted to be Run when I was coming up. I wanted to be L, man." I was just watching Crush Groove and the scene where LL walks in, box.
Yes.
Box. That right there made me say, I want my pair of Lees to look like this dude. I need a freshly pressed Izod or a Le Tigre with a bucket Kango on, man. You couldn't tell me nothing. And LL was, he's just like real cool. Like everything he ever did, everything he ever said was like real incredible, baby. You know what I mean? So it's like LL. I love B.I.G. Biggie, repping BK to the fullest because I'm a Brooklyn cat. I've been in Brooklyn a quarter century. So Biggie, Public Enemy.
Dude, they got that new one come out.
Yeah, dropped today, I think.
Oh, you gonna get it? You gonna get it?
I probably will. I love Chuck D, man. I mean, when I was coming up, I was a young cat, and I just remember when he said, "No matter what the name, we're all the same pieces in one big chess game." That hit me like I was like, "Yo, that's so deep,"
I grew up loving. I mean, I say I had the best of both worlds because the way I grew up. I always say I was black until fourth grade.
Right.
Because, like my favorite group was Earth, Wind & Fire until fourth grade came.
The Elements.
And then I found Kiss. And like I said, and then once I found Kiss, my life as a black man changed forever. I mean, it really did. Because I asked my dad for Kiss Alive 2. Mm-hmm. And my parents got me anything I wanted. And I remember my dad handed it, he goes, "Hey, here, take it. And if you break it, you ain't getting another one." But he said it with vitriol. I go, "Ooh, things have changed." And all the kids in my neighborhood like, "You ain't nothing but a white boy." So, so I had rock and roll growing up. Right. But my brother listened to hip hop and house. Okay. And my parents listened to old 70s R&B. So I had the best of every world.
Yeah, and you know what else? Back in the days, and I know, it sounds, hey, now you sound old when you start saying back in the days. I remember when, I don't know why I just turned into Gandalf, Ian McKellen. I remember when we first listened to hip hop. But I think music there was a diversity that we all embrace because, my dad listened to Santana and
God,
Miles
I love
Davis.
Santana. Yes.
And Earth, Wind & Fire and old Motown and the Doobie Brothers, and Sade. Like we
Average White Band.
Yeah, Average White Band.
Schoolboy Crush. No, Schoolboy Crush.
I don't remember.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All the children go to heaven. Schoolboy Crush. You don't remember that? He goes.
Remember that joint.
Oh, hold on. I gotta get the line. He goes. Meet me at the playground at 3:45. Make sure everybody along. You don't remember that shit?
Remember that man. If I heard it, I probably
Average
remember.
White Band, dude. Listen to Average White Band.
Was dope. Heat Wave was Cap your friends taking you on a trip round the street. Oh, you got dancing feet. Leave your worry behind.
Roller skating. Skating arena Friday night.
My man remembers
You
that.
remember that?
You remember
Roller
he
skating.
played
Remember
with
that?
your
Roller
joint.
skating,
Yes,
boy
sir.
skate.
Yeah.
And where I grew up in Oklahoma, it was boy skate, girl skate.
Yeah.
So on the east side, which is predominantly white, you had the boy skate come out and all the girls would hold their hands out for the boys to touch them. And whenever I came around, all the girls went, ooh, and they wouldn't because I was the only black dude there. And they would pull their hands back.
that's illmatic, son.
But it was so
Now all those
so,
girls trying to holler at you, I bet.
well, they're probably 40 and 50, so I'm not hollering back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, nah, it's cool.
It comes full circle.
But that was the days, man. I remember like with the disco ball for us, roller skating.
Yeah.
And to me,
Roller skating was big.
I say 70s R&B was the best period for R&B. 70s R&B was the best period because
that's hard to argue against, but that's hard to argue against.
because Prince said, and I'm quoting Prince, he said that the drum machine ruined R&B. And I go, you know what? He was good. Think about it. I think the last great R&B group before the drum machine, I'm gonna go on a limb and say Tony.
That's a good call because I mean Sadiq is
Raphael
is
Sadiq,
fire.
dude.
Raphael Sadiq. I saw him live at Afropunk a couple of years ago, and Sadiq is the truth.
Is he not underrated?
Oh, totally.
Is he not underrated?
He actually he scores. I was just watching something. Damn. I was just watching you know what? It might be that new show on Hulu, Woke, with my man from it's about an animator who was like sort of a black animator that has an incident with police officers, and he winds up suddenly woke, and all of his animation starts talking to him like black
that's
radical. So
great.
it's good.
That's awesome.
But I think Raphael Sadiq scores that does the music for that show. But people that know. That's
People
the
that
thing.
know.
People that know. And I part of me wants to agree and say that the 70s, like the R&B was because it was also heavy. You had a heavy funk infusion, right? But
oh my God,
90s R&B, son, even with the drum machines, I can't front.
Okay.
I listened to Channel 47 and also 90s on 9 on Sirius, man, and you know whether it's Babyface's production on all of After 7, Boys to Men, himself, Tony Braxton.
Another bad creation.
SWV. You know what? Another bad creation for what they were.
It's Roro coming in third. It's about that time that I.
Oh, it's Mizark chilling in the Pizzark. I got a break because my mother said be home by Dizark. You know?
And look, and Wyatt has no idea what we're talking about.
idea.
Wyatt's 19, has no idea. This is when I try to school Wyatt.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the greatest. That's why I love doing the show, because I love looking at Wyatt's face and he goes, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. He doesn't,
Right.
and it's a give and take.
Right.
Like he teaches me about technology.
Well, that's the beauty of it. I mean, that's when you hope while you're here that you inspire people in some manner, and whether he inspires you to understand some of this technology, or you inspire him to maybe he goes and investigates Average White Band, and then no, real talk, because my like the same way my dad was his musical taste was so eclectic.
Yeah.
I remember my dad. Remember the Columbia House? You'd order like CDs. You'd pay like 10 cents for
one
like
cent.
one
1 cent for 12. I remember
12,
that.
Yeah, I remember my dad. I came home and he had the Chronic in like 90, 91, 90s. I was like, Dad, you got the Chronic? He was like, yeah.
For a cent.
He got the Chronic along with, like I said, Santa with Seal.
You don't remember this? Okay, there's a thing called Columbia House, okay? And they had CDs. You know what CDs are, right? Yeah. Okay, so what it is, and honestly, for 1 cent, you would get 12 CDs for 1 cent.
Right.
Dude, let me tell you something, okay? And to fast forward, what happened was I had about 3 or 4 like cases of CDs, and times got so hard for me in LA, like my management dropped me and everything. I literally was selling those CDs so I could eat. And I would sell I sold like maybe 10, I had like maybe $5, $10, and I would go buy ramen noodles. And they lasted me, honestly, for a long time. I mean, I had hard times, and I was eating off selling my Columbia House CDs, bro.
Right.
And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. So it came around full circle. And I sold all them CDs so I could eat. True story. Yeah, man.
I also miss that era because I used to love. I just had a conversation with someone. I used to love just playing, just looking. I would get lost for hours looking at album covers and reading the thank yous. Like
at a music store.
I read whether it was a music store or just my parents' collection. I would just sit. I would sit for hours at home and just look. You know, I remember like picking up Herbie Hancock Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters, or Miles Davis, or Coltrane, or Richard Pryor, and just read all, because I was like, I didn't know what Los Angeles was at the time, but it said it recorded the Soul Train in Los Angeles. I'm like, what is that? Is that the same Soul Train from Channel 11 on Saturday afternoon?
Yes,
at noon. And I would always read people's thank yous. Because I knew early on what I wanted to do, and so I said, you know what? I said, one day I want to be able to put my thank yous and have somebody else read my thank yous. Like, yo, I wonder who that is.
Is that why? Life. Is that why? Because of that?
I didn't do it because of that, but that just added to the adventure of doing that.
Well, think some of the things as a kid, they transfer over to be an adult. And so I'm glad you said that, because I just remember when I did my first CD, recorded my first CD, what stuck in my head was I wanted it to be like when I grew up, when I opened that CD or the album, and you see, like you said, the thank yous, and I did. I thanked some girls, I shouldn't think, but I thanked some people, like, my manager, mom and dad, right. And I just remember and I wanted to be. And it was definitely an homage to Richard Pryor's That Nigga's Crazy. Mm-hmm. So, and it was called Captured Live, right? Instead of Wanted, it was like Captured Live. Okay. And it was a picture of me, and it was actually I think it was a picture of my first time I went to jail was in Colorado. So kind of like a mugshot.
First time? Hold on.
Yeah, all traffic stuff. It's traffic stuff. So, but I'm good now. I'm good now. Okay. I mean, I'm so good now. I can pull up by a cop, like I can argue with him. Okay. Because like my stuff is good. Like it's for the last 5 years of my life, it's the first time in 5 years of my life consistently I've had a valid driver's license and car insurance. I'm doing big boy things now. Nice. Doing big boy things.
Big things are going, Sid. Big things are soon erupt for the one them called BT. B2 doing big things here,
How did you get your voice? By the way, we just came in all rough. This is Dean. If you guys don't know, and I think you do, Dean Edwards from Saturday Night Live fame. He's blessing me, doing me this favor. Man, I honestly, when I saw you you were gonna be here, man, I got so excited. And I always start off these shows by apologizing to everybody, because I can't help this, and it's sincere. But the things that I get hyped for are motorcycles, motorcycle racing, and entertainment. And I knew, we had met in Tampa. Yeah. And I was I know now how annoying I am. And I'm just like, oh.
But and you don't annoy me. I appreciate your energy.
But you were so cool, and I was like, oh my God, Dean. And we were like, dude. And I was like, okay. And I said, I'm sure I'm gonna just piss this dude off. And we hung out, dude. Yeah. And I just remember us going to the movies to see your dude from Saturday Night Live, and we hung out. And that movie was kind of sucky.
What movie? What movie?
I forget the name of the movie, but it had that one big laugh to where I laughed so loud. You kind of turned and looked at me like, all right, man, that's enough. I mean, I was laughing. And luckily we were like only like 2 of 10 people in the movie theater.
Because we probably went like
in the afternoon. Yeah, like a Saturday afternoon. There, yeah. And you were like, okay, man, okay, that's it. Because I was like the whole movie, like, this movie kind of sucks, but this one laugh lasted me the entire movie. He looked at me like, all right, man.
I wonder what movie that was.
But I remember us walking, and I remember we had the greatest time. I mean, we just hung out together, and I kept expecting you to blow me off, and you never did. Cause I was expecting you to blow me off today, because I came and saw you last night, and I was like, he's probably, he said his boy's coming in. That's probably his way of saying, hey, man, sorry, and you called, and I go, huh. Dean call. And so I waited for a while, and I go, Dean call. I'm like, man, you don't understand. I'm like a kid. I'm 52, going on set. Hey, baby. She's got the greatest smile in the world.
Yes,
Every time I see her, she's so positive. I love seeing her. Love you too,
tell
sweetie.
Her to come to the show.
Yeah. Come see my boy Dean. Oh, she's in the car now. But hey, listen, it's my boy Dean from Saturday Night Live. He's gonna be at Helium. Tonight and tomorrow.
If you want tickets, do you have her information?
Let Wyatt know. If you want tickets, she gonna come. Look, see, she gonna come.
She gonna leave the car.
She gonna double park. That's how gangster she is. She's double. They ain't gonna give her no ticket. Not with a smile like that. Not with a smile like that. And I ain't seen a pretty girl smile in a while. Remember that? Beastie Boys. Look at that. How good is that? Oh, okay. Come see him, baby. Right, he's worth it. Trust me when I say
those dimples need to be up front.
Yeah.
We need those.
Man, let me tell you something. I do my show when she passes by and that smile, I go, oh my goodness. That's when you know life is good, man. Life is good. She's good people, man.
Now, what did y'all just do? What y'all just?
She just took my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
How great is that?
Okay, all right.
Look at that. See?
Cool.
Man,
Yeah.
my heart. It's my heart, kid. It's my heart, kid.
You know.
And we hung out. And I just remember us, I also remember us walking on the sidewalk, and there was these cops.
Ybor?
Yeah, and Ybor, and we walk, and these cops were there. No, we were walking, and like, kind of in the street, but there was nobody there. And the cops, like, they said, hey, get on the sidewalk. And we were like, okay. And it was kind of a fucked up situation, but we were kind of pissy, but we didn't say anything because they were cops.
Right.
And, they can make up shit. So we just kind of like, and we didn't say anything for like a block. I remember that. Right. It was that awkward kind of, situation where like if you see your dad, you got to get beat up and you don't say anything because he still got to take you someplace. Right. And that's what it was. You know what it reminded me of? When I was a kid, my dad, this is the 70s for you. I don't know if you can attest to this, but it was me and my dad, my brother, and my dad goes, hey, listen, I'm going to go to my partner's house. He likes to drink, and he also likes to fight. So if we start fighting, you kids just go home. And I go, what? He said, if we start fighting, you kids just run home. I said,
oh, wow.
Okay, Dad. And honestly, even as a kid, I go, then why are you going to his house then?
Pops was about that life.
I mean,
your father remember in Menace to Society, the beginning of Menace to Society? When it was like, Kern, when it was Sam Jackson, he was like, he's swelling up on me like he Ron O'Neal or something. I ain't afraid. So what? He got a gun. And pow. That's what this sound like. Your pops.
Oh, my dad back in the day, dude. My dad back in the day. Oh yeah. I mean, he struck fear in everybody. That's why. But now he's all chilled and cool.
Well, he's been through it.
Yeah, but I mean, that was it. That was the 70s. I remember him handing my brother a beer. My brother had to be maybe third grade. And man.
He was 8.
My brother took it and he downed it. Me, I've always been like alcohol, anything like drugs, Yeah. My dad looked away. My brother literally tipped it. I was like, hey, T-Boy. I remember that, and nobody said shit. But I remember though we worked together and you were so damn cool. And I always want to ask you, man. How did you learn that you had the talent for the voices? Because I try to do voices, and I'm like, if I can do one halfway, I'm happy. But how did you know, like, because you nail them?
Yeah, I think just when I was a kid, I just, I've always been big on entertainment myself.
In the greatest escape.
I think most entertainers find comfort in their solitude, and
yes,
I used to just enjoy. If I was watching Bugs Bunny, and I tried doing his voice, and I was like, oh wow, you sound kind of like him, and then realizing from Bugs Bunny that wait, Bugs Bunny sounds just like that. It's the same. And then I watching the credits, you only saw Mel Blanc's name in the credits. I was like, wait, that dude. This is before Google,
right?
Right. I was like, I think that dude is doing all their voices, and somehow I learned later on. Maya Rudolph, when I was on SNL, Maya was like, no, you have perfect pitch. And she was like, you have perfect pitch. So that's why you can mimic so many people, because you can hear a voice. And now it's like scientifically I can say, oh, well, I can hear someone's voice. And I'm like, okay, I can pretty much lock in on that. So it's not even something that I necessarily have to rehearse. Especially if it's someone that's interesting that I admire, whether it's with Denzel Washington, where I just you hear and you're like, okay, he's talking on the back of his throat, and so everything has this sort of this deep tenor when he speaks, and his S's are more SH. So when he says something, he means it. And his voice, he has peaks and valleys, and sometimes he'll peak up high or bring it down here where it's just this, he's just talking, and it's sort of it's subtle, and then even and then you hear similarities between people's voices. So I was doing LL Cool J earlier, and LL, he has certain he licks his lips a lot, and he takes pauses, but when you listen to LL Cool J. If you listen real close to LL Cool J and you hear him, Cool J, and then you realize he has the same voice as Jay-Z, but the only difference is where Jay stays, LL is a little little lower on the throat. You know, and he's stuck in his throat. But Jay is high up here, and so it's the same exact voice. So you go from LL Cool J to Jay-Z back and forth, and Jay is a little raspier. So when he speaks, you know, his voice cracks a little bit, and everything is funny. Yeah. You know, and so that's
man. I just remember, and I talked to you about this last night, and I'm doing this for Wyatt's sake. But man, when I work with him in Tampa. The bit he did Denzel Washington asking a girl out to the prom the day of the prom and having the girl come pick him up because he doesn't have a car.
I need you to pick me up. I don't have a car. I need a ride.
How that bit is, and the thing about when we talked about this is you don't just do impressions. You do jokes with the impression. You don't just like, hey, this is so and so. I mean, you do a joke with the impression, and that's
the joke, son.
That's what sells. And you have the punchlines to go with. I mean, you are the total package. Thanks, and I'm gonna ask you this, and I mean no disrespect at all because it's nothing but love here for you. Right. Do you think, or does it bother you that being as talented as you are, and I'm being dead serious because I'm not. There's no. You know, like I said, the reason I have you on because we talked about I just love comedy so much. We talked about specials that aren't special.
Right.
And you talked
about averages.
Comedy.
They're regulars.
And when I left there last night, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, when I left talking to you last night and got on my motorcycle, man, I got home and I got my notebook out.
Okay.
I got my notebook out, and I was thinking, what voices do I do? And I said, okay. And I went over jokes, man, because you go, comics should inspire. And I thought, yeah, because I remember I rode my other motorcycle 2 hours away to see you in Cincinnati.
You got a lot of motorcycles.
I didn't say they were all mine, but I rode my motorcycle to see you in Cincinnati. I froze my ass off.
Oh, that's right.
But it was worth it because I said, man, I didn't realize until you said it. And I mean this, but I didn't realize until you said it. But yeah, you inspired me when I got home last night. I looked over my jokes. I go, which ones can go here and there? Because I talked to you, and because of that, and because of are you? Like where you are mentally, because I feel like, and do you feel like you should be bigger than what you are, or should be more well known than what you are? And that's no disrespect.
No, and I don't take it as disrespect. I think I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Of course, I want it sooner. However, everything happens as part of God's plan. So I learned years ago not to fight the process and just to submit and enjoy the road, enjoy the journey, because I know bigger things are coming. I have something that's coming up that's big, and I submitted the set that I'm doing for something that I have forthcoming. I had submitted to do the Tonight Show probably like a year and a half, about a year ago, and I submitted that set, and they didn't take it. They I just didn't get the Tonight Show. And part of me was more annoyed because I was like, but you can see I'm crushing, right?
Yeah.
But also when people book different television shows or different late night shows, they have a mandate and they have a certain approach to what they want to present. So what I presented for the Tonight Show didn't work for the Tonight Show. However, someone else is giving me 50 times more what the Tonight Show would have paid me for it, and it's going to be even bigger exposure. So when you have enough of those experiences occur in your life, in your career, you realize, there's bigger opportunities and bigger powers at hand, and so don't get frustrated by one closed door. And so to answer your question, yes, do I think that my talent warrants me more success? Not just based on what I say, but also what my friends say and what people in the audiences say. Yes, I do, and it will, and I will that into existence. I don't want things, I will them, and so it's coming.
But have you always been that way? I mean, honestly, because I think because there's a synergy between us, and I feel that honestly because it's like you said. I mean, there's no fakeness in here because I couldn't wait to come see you last night. I was like, you know what I mean? And I was like, I couldn't wait. I got get on my bike. I had to go see my dude, put him to bed, and I couldn't wait to come see you last night, and then talk to you today. And I just feel like I said, were you always like something bigger's coming on, or did you get to a point and something happened? You go, okay, I got to realize, okay, I'm grateful I should be grateful for what I have. Because I interviewed Kenny Monday. I grew up a wrestler, and he was an Olympic wrestler, and to this day I still feel like that's one of my That was one of my favorites, and I love everybody who comes in. But man, interviewing him, and I asked him because it was to a point where I think he was trying to make the Olympic team, and he couldn't make it, and he's up against it. And I go, when did you realize? How did you get over mentally? And he just goes, and it was something simple, and I didn't know this. I did 3 hours of research on him, and he goes, man, I was helping these kids like in the Special Olympics. I was helping these guys, and like on the afternoon, I helped those kids one afternoon. And he goes, and that right there did it because it made me feel grateful for what I have. Those kids are struggling to be who they are. They're struggling, and me, everything. I'm great. I got my health, everything. So that made me go, man, what am I? Complain about life about. You know what I mean? I just got to learn how to beat this guy, and I can get my gold medal. And that's what got him over that hump. Yeah. So were you always like that, or did a situation occur where you go, wait a minute, what the hell's wrong with me, man?
I've always had a certain maturity about things, saying, you know what, I always believed bigger was coming, right?
Always.
From when I was a kid.
Okay.
We were talking about Delirious last night.
Yes.
And you said how your mother wouldn't let you watch it, right?
Yes.
I watched it was September 1983. I ran in my parents' room after Delirious ended. It came on at 9 p.m., ended at like 10. I ran in my parents' room and said, that's what I want to do. And my family encouraged me. They didn't discourage me. And I always said, I was like, nah, I'm destined for bigger things. I'm going to touch a lot of people with what I do. And so I've just always had this sort of unwavering faith that the success is already there. Like when I see people not giving me opportunities, I'm like, well, you're gonna regret it later.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna gloat about it. But I'm gonna remember,
because you'd be so you're so far over that.
Yeah.
You're like, eh.
Yeah, it's petty. It's petty to hold on to any sort of
It's not good for you, man.
anger.
Yeah, it's not good
towards
for you.
people. I'm like, no, you know what you did. Like Tiffany Haddish right now. I'm sure there are people that did her dirty,
right?
And she's such a bright light and full of joy.
Yes,
that
I love to meet her.
That kills people because people probably expect her to be on some funkiness.
You remember me?
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, what's up, girl? I remember. And then that makes them leave. That makes them because you're really just holding up a mirror,
right,
to someone, right?
Yeah.
You're holding up a mirror. And your success is reminding them how nasty they were to you, right? And so, to me, that's power in reminding you. You know what? You don't have to be that way. I have a screenshot of Facebook. Someone put a Facebook post on my birthday, probably like 5 years ago, and this person said, "D, hey, you probably don't remember me, but I just want to tell you how proud of you I am. He said, I'm gonna be honest. I met you probably in the mid to late 90s, and I saw you at a club in Jersey, and I came up to you and said how you need to quit. You don't need to be doing this, and you weren't funny. And you said, you know what, I'll have to work on that. And so to see what you've become, makes me feel bad that I even that he even felt the need to tell me, as if that affected me,
right?
As if it was supposed to. Like, who are you to tell somebody what they got to do? But I like the fact, and I responded. I probably said, "Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you finally came around, and I'm glad I got got better." But Bernie Mac, I look at Bernie, and Bernie was the most encouraging cat and didn't have to be. And I met him when I first started. And
Same here.
And he was just encouraged. He was like, nah, there's room at the cross. There's room at the cross. I tell you like a T.I. is. All you got to do is just get on stage. You don't need to do anything. Get on stage. The stage is going to be there for you. You here, ain't you? I said, yeah. Then there's room at the cross. I still don't know what room at the cross means. But it sounded heavy. And then fast forward a decade later, he's in my office at Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
And he's the guest host. And I got to tell him, hey, man, thank you for encouraging me. And we in 7 days' time, we just got real cool.
I met him when I was first, I moved to Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how the scene was with you, but this was before Def Jam. Even in Chicago at the time, there was no really black club. It was like, hey, tonight they're doing comedy. So every comic would go there. And when you're first coming up, man, it's kind of cutthroat. He thinks he's funny.
Everybody's vying for stage time.
And I just remember Bernie, man, like we were at a party. And it felt like every black comic in Chicago was there. And Bernie had he was holding court.
Right.
And I just remember him going, listen, he goes, you're going to go through some girlfriends. He goes, but if you really want to do this, you're going to stick with it. And for some reason, everybody like, we were listening to it. Anybody else said something, you're like, yeah, whatever, man.
Bernie holds court, listen.
But when he said it, we were like this. And I just remember going, you're going to go through a lot of girlfriends, but if you really want to do it, and it's all I remember from that conversation. And then fast forward, I'm living in L.A., and I'm taking the red. If you live in L.A., you always take the red eye out to go do your dirt, do your. And he was filming an episode of Bernie Mac's show.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he remembers, but Bernie's just class. And I go, and he's getting ready for his scene. Because they're shooting in LAX, and they couldn't, I guess, get the whole terminal to themselves.
Okay.
He's ready for a scene, and I go like this. I knew he was getting ready, and he saw me, and he goes like this. And I don't know if he remembers me, but just that little acknowledgement, man. And I was so happy. Nobody, and which is rare in this business, nobody ever said a disparaging word about Bernie.
No.
Nobody.
Because he saw everybody in the room. My wife says that a lot. She's like, she appreciates someone that has a certain level of success, but still makes everyone in the room feel like they were seen, and that's, to me, that's important. So I don't care what level of success I achieve. I always will make sure. I said to the audience last night, I said, listen, I said, I'm not shaking hands and doing meet and greet now. I said, but when I come back, I'll take a picture with everybody in this room. And I'll tell the story about that nasty nurse.
Man, no. Hey, before the nasty, I got to get this out before I forget, because that's where my memory is now. But I just remember... And no names will be said. No names will be said. But we talked about this comic who's big time. Who's big, and we don't know why he's big time, because it ain't because of his act, but he's big time. He's big time. And you agree. And the great thing about you is you don't say a bad word, but you kind of went like, and so I don't even say where it was at, but it was at a place where everybody goes, and you watch this act, and so he comes up to you. And you couldn't tell him with a straight face, hey, great act. No, you go, all you did.
I know.
You go, respect. Oh, my God.
Respect.
Man,
yes.
I lie to you not. I laugh so hard. And you understand, man. I mean, I'll be driving my motorcycle trying to find something to make me laugh to get through all this bullshit that goes on today.
Right.
And I just remember you saying that, and that made me laugh so hard because, I mean... I don't know how he got the specials he got.
Well,
I really don't.
Yeah.
And you kind of agreed, and without being this, this is how you are. You never say a bad word.
Right.
You said you saw his act. He comes backstage, go, hey, what's up, Dean? And you were like, respect.
Yeah. Because I do respect. I respect that individual's hustle. And I respect.
You respect the hustle.
I know X is wondering who it is, and I'll tell you later.
We'll tell later, X.
But I do respect this individual's hustle and their business acumen.
Oh my God, his acumen is incredible.
Is awesome.
Yes.
But I'm also a stand-up, and so I can't. It's hard to give some like Daphne Springs, who's also a comic, very funny and very talented with her social media. She has like live followers, and. I remember she was on tour she was with Cat Williams. She was touring with Cat, and one of the comics they did the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So for damn near 18,000 people. Probably like they closed off the back, so probably like 15,000. And we're in the green room after the show, and it's Cat and a bunch of other people, and one of the comics caught an L in Brooklyn, and and to catch an L in Brooklyn is rough. He didn't get booed. He got booed the next night in Atlantic City, from what she told me, but he just survived not getting booed. So I think I gave him some dap. I was like, hey man, dude, you funny doing your thing. And I wasn't lying. I wasn't, but I also, because he came like. Dude came to me and he was like, he was a fan. He was like, yo, Dean Evans. I was like, hey man, keep it. Because I still want to come from a place of positivity and encourage the dude.
Exactly.
I don't want to be the dude that shuts dude's dream down.
Man, never be a dream killer.
Right.
Never be a dream killer.
Because people remember that, and people will regard you with so much disdain after that moment.
And it's because, honestly, I love my parents to death, but, they grew up in that era, especially my dad, that regimented, like he was in the military also. Yeah. And he was like, and he would always, like the summertime would come, you sleep late in the summertime, my dad would come in, he'd go, hey boy, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. And they go, oh, I got to get up now.
Hey, dog, can I just enjoy this dream for 10 more minutes?
Can I just got to sleep until 9? But he was like that. And he was like, look, you ain't getting no TV. You're going to get a major when you go to school. And, you ain't doing that comedy. And I was like, I'm doing everything you said I'm not gonna do.
Dig it.
You know, so but I respected my dad. I mean,
course.
nothing but love. But and I always said to myself, I will never be a dream killer. Whatever somebody wanted to do, you encourage that, man.
Right.
You know, and but that's why I love in a way. And I say this, and it's a slippery slope, but I say in a way, today's times are in a way better because I think stereotypically growing up, 70s, 80s, whatever, that tough love where you actually got a whooping and a beating in our case sometimes, where now we have kids now and it's more of a love. I mean, it's more of a nurturing kind of a.
Yeah.
And we tell them we love them every day. We give them a kiss and hey, boy, hey, I love you, man. Like every day I tell my roommate's son, like, hey, I love you, man.
Yeah, man.
And you know, and I think
And that doesn't hinder him because there's a difference between offering a young individual love and encouragement versus coddling. You can encourage and love someone without coddling.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't coddled my children. I've probably, or you know, I've spoiled them and given them things that I didn't get when I was a kid. But that's called success. That's called progress. You know. I was just watching on Real Sports on HBO. They did a story on how they have participation trophies, and scientists actually said that rewarding something just because they did it diminishes their capacity to succeed, because they use lab rats as an example, where if they just put the cheese down, the rat would just eat it. But if they put the cheese through a maze, the rat had to work for it.
Yeah.
It
more rewarding.
released the endorphins
Right.
and was more rewarding. They said if you keep giving to the rat, eventually the rat stops working for it. And
Right.
so the same, you know, likening it to human beings, we should want to work towards something, because that guy, I don't believe in retirement, because I think after you retire, you don't have anything really to live for, and you die.
Yeah. You know what? Especially during our business, because I remember like back in the day, you know, the rocking chair and they give you a watch and everything.
Yeah.
But now I think we realize, and I see this with my parents, it's like they're still like vibrant people, but they have nothing to do all day.
Right.
And it's the worst because they still, I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm about to die. It's like they still want to do stuff.
Yeah.
But in a way, society is, you know, because they gotten older, they kind of cast them aside.
And we have a pandemic.
And they're not technology savvy.
Right.
So, you know, so to get to do what do you call it? The applications or job applications, they got to do them online.
Right.
And I don't want my mom going online and you know
Right.
they take all their money. So you know it's kind of a disservice to them now.
Yeah.
So it's like yes, and somebody said it best, especially during how we're so blessed during our field, is that perfect example was Don Rickles. Even though he died, he still had dates on the books.
Yeah,
and he was 90.
And he died happy doing what he loved, man. You know?
90 years old, he still had dates on the
Yeah,
book. I mean, how great is that?
That's
Betty White
awesome.
probably the same way.
Yeah. Betty White is still doing her thing and still looks younger than she actually is,
Because it's this
she's
job.
enjoying life.
It's this job. It's what we do. We love
Right.
what we. That's the thing about it. We're one of the few jobs where we love what we do.
Right.
Once
So it
we
ain't
get
really
on
work.
stage, you get on stage, man, and it's like. All that bullshit is out of the
Yeah,
way,
man.
and I'm in my element, and
Yeah.
it's the greatest thing in the world. So I'm gonna ask you,
It's freedom.
because you have one of my dreams, one of my like life's goal was to be on Saturday Night Live. What was it like when you got the call?
Oh man, when I booked Mad TV first. And
Oh.
yeah, booking Mad TV got me SNL, because when I auditioned for Mad TV, I had a great audition. And I did all these impressions.
What'd you do? 'Cause I auditioned for Man TV.
Yeah, I auditioned. So
Wait a minute, man.
Prior
I
to
did that.
prior to Mad TV's audition, I had auditioned for this other TV show for UPN, this sketch show, and they flew me to LA. And
What was the name of it?
I don't remember. Al Heyman, who's a boxing promoter, he produced that show.
What year was this?
That show was, I want to say, maybe 2000.
We were in LA around the same time.
Probably. And
How did we not run into each other?
I don't know, because one but like 7 black people. No, I was playing.
It was me, you,
Right.
Alonzo Bowden.
Right. Alonzo Bowden was there.
It was Alonzo Bowden who worked at Dublin's. I love Alonzo. Isn't he the greatest?
He's awesome, man.
Those three, okay,
Hella funny.
Isn't
But
it-
so I stunk for that audition. So then a year and a half later, when Mad TV was having auditions, I prepared a little better. I had taken some sketch classes, and I had written a scene I said, they only want 3 impressions, 3
Yes.
characters.
Yes.
In 3 minutes.
And what'd you do?
And so I said, you know what? If I do more impressions and they're good, they ain't gonna say stop. That's too many.
Right.
As long as I do it in the allotted time. So I did. Here's and I set it up. I said, here's my impression of Chris Rock and Chris Tucker hosting a Black Awards show that Jay-Z is doing a duet with Erykah Badu, and Denzel Washington and Sam Jackson presenting James Earl Jones Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh my gosh!
So I set it up so that I could just go, and I did that, and then
give me a little bit of it. Give me a little bit of it.
It's funny. I don't remember it, but damn, I don't. James Earl Jones is, I love James because when he speaks, everything he says sounds like it's delicious. Where's Chris Rock? Chris Tucker, man. And, it's just like going back and Denzel and Sam Jackson. So it was Erykah Badu, peace, space, family. And Jay, so I just did all of them. So it was just going back. And that's what I've to me, one of my gifts is not just doing the impressions and having a funny joke to go along with it, but just running through them where they're all in the midst of combo.
And that is talent. I saw that last night, and I go, how is he not screwing this? I mean, you had it perfect to where they didn't overlap, where it didn't make any sense. It was that to me. It was the perfect timing, and that was perfect.
Oh, thanks.
No, I mean the timing of that. It was perfect to perfection.
Grazie.
I mean that. And so then, okay, so you had.
So I did that, and I did some characters that weren't all that amazing, but the impressions after I was finished, after 3 minutes up. Nicole Garcia, who was casting Mad TV, she was like, "Who else can you do?" And I was like, "I don't know." And she was like, "Can you do Jamie Foxx?" I was like, "Well, I can figure out a way to do Jamie Foxx. Can you do Steve Harvey?" I was like, "I can figure out how to do Steve." And I just was, and I left, and I got a call back when I walked around the corner, and I was feeling good. And that night I had a stand-up showcase. And I had a great show because I was feeling good. I had a callback.
Yeah.
Went to the callback for producers, crushed it. 2 weeks later, I was shooting this commercial, and on set during a break, my agent calls. He's like, "Hey, handsome, I have good news and great news." I said, "What's the good news?" He said, "Good news is Mad TV loved you so much, they don't even want to screen test you. They're offering you the show. Oh. They're offering you 6 episodes, and if you do well on those 6, they'll roll to 13. So I was like, I said, "Well, what news is great? That's good. What's greater than that?" He's like, "The great news is that same night that you did that showcase, people from SNL were in the audience." And so it's just, again, going back to what I said earlier, it's like, it's already written, like the success and the levels of success. You just have to stay focused and to your plan, and that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been like preparing.
Okay, so what was your plan though? I mean, what was your plan? Because everybody's.
So my plan was never SNL because it was so far fetched, and having grown up watching some of the show, I was like, well, there've only been, like at that point, there probably had only been about 9 or 10 black people on that had been on the show, if that many, because I did it season 27, and they're now up to season 45 or 46. And so when I did the show, you had Garrett Morris, Eddie Murphy,
Damon Wayans for a little bit,
Denitra Vance, Ellen Cleghorn, Tim Meadows, Chris Rock, Tracy Morgan, Jerry Minor. So I think I don't
remember him.
Yeah, a lot of he only was on a year and was dope. Jerry Minor was dope, man. People don't remember, but Jerry Minor, the 1 year he was on was fire.
But what happened?
Who knows? I still don't know why I was released because it wasn't like a lack of talent, but whatever.
How did it feel though? I mean, did it hurt
when I got released from my contract? Yeah, man. Because we just got married. Just had a daughter. So part of me took it a little personally because I was like, wait, y'all casted me off like. I said the season wasn't weak because of me because y'all weren't giving me a lot of
skits,
airtime during my second season. But that's neither here nor I also always to this day tell people I was like, Chris Rock made a good. He's like, ever since I know Lorne Michaels, I've been rich, and I ain't rich, financially, but I'm comfortable and I know I'm fortunate. but yeah, you know, when you do the math on the history of the show, there've been about 150 cast members in 45 years, and then you want to narrow it down even more. There've probably only been about 15 or 16 cast members that were my skin tone, right?
Wow. I
ain't complaining about it because it wasn't called Dean Edwards featuring the SNL players. SNL featuring Dean Edwards, you know. And so I was always a realist, and I said I'm not tripping. I wish I had one more season because I think while I was there, Tracy was the alpha Negro. Like the writers were writing mainly for him, and I would write stuff for myself and had some people writing with me or for me, but he was always going to get preferential treatment or get written into sketches if they needed a black face because more people were familiar with him. So I understood the schematics of the show and why you would have him in things, but sometimes I was like, yeah, but he doesn't look like whoever y'all want him to be, you know, and so that was frustrating. But again,
how'd you get the call when they told you you were like, what were you doing?
Well, I you know what, I was shooting a film, so I wasn't tripping. I was on the set of Tony and Tina's Wedding with Mila Kunis and Joey McIntyre and two. Here's what's funny: two people that wound up. John Barenthal, who wound up, who became the Punisher years later, and the brother that played the Winter Soldier. I can't think of his name right now, but like Tony and Tina's Wedding, we did a scripted version, a theatrical version of the play that actually was really good. My boy, Michael Tadros produced it. It was he wound up producing Hitch and I Am Legend, and we had but I heard there were issues. The reason the movie didn't really come out until late was because there were issues between the producer and director, what have you, and that just shows you that things are sometimes beyond your control.
Beyond your control.
But it's a fun film.
Wow, man, that's incredible. Okay, do you think? If you were, because life is about decisions. I learned that from Tony Robbins. It's a lot about decisions. So do you think if you would have gone the Mad TV route, you would have been more successful or stood out more? Because
you know what?
Didn't your role go to Aries?
Well, Aries was already on the show.
Okay.
And so Aries and I both do a lot of similar things, similar impressions. And so to me, it made sense to go to SNL because they already had someone that was similar to what I did.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have stood out as much.
Right. And honestly, I'm not big on hypotheticals because
yeah, that's hindsight being 2020.
Because I'm like, you know, who cares about what could have been? I'm like, this is what it is, and so I'm riding this out and
that's beautiful.
Taking it where it takes me. And again, I ain't complaining about nothing because life is looking good.
It's lovely, baby.
Right now, it's
lovely.
It's so incredible. So incredible, baby.
I was reading. You do a Scottie Pippen?
No, you know what I did? Scottie. Now because he's so much deeper now. But
I'll do Michael. You do Scottie. I'll do Michael. You do Scottie.
You know what? Here's what's funny. I can't hear it right now. Kobe Bryant. I used
Kobe's
Kobe.
Michael. Kobe's Michael.
Huh?
If you
He
listen,
really is.
If you listen
He really
to
is.
young
Yeah.
Kobe,
Yeah.
he was like Mike. He goes,
Yeah.
well, you know, the rim is just a big bucket.
Right.
When
Right.
you're hot.
Yeah, but I did that on Celebrity Jeopardy. And sometimes they would throw someone at you and like, I don't know who that person sounds. I'm just do it.
You know what was
Get that check.
I know I'm going. This is Mind of a Gemini, Tales from a Gemini. That's who I am. Yeah. I'm being a Gemini. But I got to get this out before I forget. But man, you're Will Smith last night, and I don't want to give it away. If you go see him,
you like the Will Smith, man.
Oh my God!
Yo, you know what I like about Will? Will is cool because he laughs at everything, even when things aren't going well, man. And I never really understood how amazing someone like Will Smith is. But he's so profound and prolific with the things that he says and how he takes his time speaking to everyone. You know, even his wife at the red table.
I mean, last night when you did that, and then you did Chris Rock talk, and then
Right.
Denzel and Chris basically roasted Will Smith.
Right, right.
You got to see Dean Smith.
Dean Edwards.
I'm dope. I'm so sorry. I'm thinking of basketball. Michael Jordan.
That's the
Dean Edwards.
Dean Dome, UNC.
My man, I mean, is that gonna be part of your new special?
That's that 15 minutes,
Oh my
that
God.
cluster. That's a new bit, but that goes back to I've been able to do Will Smith for years, but I didn't have a joke. Now I have a joke to go with it, so it makes sense.
I was losing it. I mean, that's why I love seeing you, man. Watching you do that, and I just, like I said, I sit there and study you. And the thing you did, and we talked about this, and I love comics. I mean, I love all kind of comics. It can be stupid, silly. Like I can go from the '85 South Boys to Kevin Hart.
Shout out to Chico and Carlos.
Chico
man.
Bean and DC
Funny
Young
dudes.
Flying Car.
Young
Those
Fly,
dudes
yeah.
are hilarious,
Yeah, they
and
are.
I love those guys. And I can go to and I can take those guys. I can go to a Jerry Seinfeld with no problem, or Brian Regan. 'Cause I just love laughing.
Isn't Regan good, man?
Dude, I just love this whole game. I love to laugh more than anything in the world, and to watch you do that. And I mean, I laughed so hard, and I was just in awe and laughing at the same time. And what we talked about was, and I said I love social conscious comedy also. And what you did, and I'm not gonna ruin it for the people out there, but you made a point without preaching or getting on a soapbox, and you made a point with jokes, and you set the joke up for the punchline. It was a work of art. Because I'm not gonna lie, I let the world get to me. That's why sometimes I feel like I'm a shitty comic, because I let what's happening now, and it's clouding my brain, and I can't get it out. And I'm going, how do I make it funny? Because I don't want to sit there and preach. Nobody wants to see that. You go to church. And the way you did that last night, I was like, that's what I want to do. Because you made your point without beating somebody over the head. And
But I think that just comes from having faith and trust in your artistic voice, and the beauty of, especially being black in America at any era, specifically during these times, is that this global pandemic, it affects everybody. But we're not panicking because we've been under duress before.
Oh yeah,
right. And most people I know that look like me are like, we're gonna get through this. We're not like, what are we gonna do? It's like, nah, it's just we gotta prepare for things and ride it out. But it's gonna get better eventually.
We've always gotten our hustle
because we've always adapted and survived, and so same thing with our stand up is I think after Philando Castile was murdered by the police officers in Minneapolis. Yeah. I had already started saying, I want to begin to address not necessarily race, but I want to address people's perception of me,
right?
Because I'm a 6'4" black male in this country, and I know people see me a certain way, and so that made me say I'm going to start addressing that. And if people are uncomfortable with it, that's really, you're uncomfortable with the reflection. Because I'm not saying you're bad. I'm just saying this is a mirror, and this is my experience. You can't get mad at someone's experience, and it just takes work in it. And once you find comfort in that, I'm now comfortable enough on stage where I'm not afraid to get uncomfortable, because I think that's what happens. We're so used to chasing the laughter. We're so used to hitting them in the head and getting that quick laugh, especially if you, like you said, you come up working not just mainstream clubs but also rooms where it's an urban audience, and you gotta get to the laugh quickly. But to me, there's something fun about sitting in the silence,
establishing that jab.
Yeah. Right, and especially you're a fighter, so you understand.
Get that Mayweather kind of first round.
Just let them hit you, but you wear them out. Just jab quick, jab hook, jab.
Everything is, to me, is a boxing reference. So, like you said, I mean, I don't mind
because it's a sweet science.
I don't mind coming out with the Hagler Hearns. You know what I mean?
Right? No,
but there's something about coming out with that jab, kind of.
Just keep hitting them. You just keep tapping them. You just tack.
And
You
then pretty
southpaw.
soon-
I just realized you southpaw.
Well, you know.
I didn't know. I didn't. I was watching your stance. I was like, oh, he throwing. Okay, all right. He switched it up. All right.
Yeah, I like doing that.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
whole. You know, honestly, my whole thing. I like going Muay Thai also.
You like what? Oh, okay.
Getting the kicks in.
Okay.
But my whole thing is ground game, though. I mean, my whole thing is I get you to the ground, it's done.
Well, you mentioned wrestling earlier, so
Yeah,
I was like,
I get you to the ground, it's done.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, now it's harder to get to the ground, so I got to.
No, it's not hard getting to the ground. It's hard getting up.
Man, it is. It's a damn shame you saw me get up, but so I got to work a little on this
Right,
more. But
right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but. It's so beautiful, and that's why I look at boxing that way. And I think Chris Rock referred to that also when he getting ready for a special. Because I remember when he went through his ups and downs. He said when he was going through his downs, he talked to Andrew Dice Clay, and I take his advice. And Andrew Dice Clay told him, watch Rocky. Because Rocky will remind you of why you started this business. And I just gave that advice to a buddy of mine who races motorcycles in the Formula One of motorcycle racing, which is MotoGP, which is what the sport I live for. I hit him up yesterday. I go, hey man, because he's gonna be replaced next year basically by this other guy. And I said, listen, let that fuel your fire. And I said, and you go watch Rocky, and that's gonna remind you why you started racing in the first
Oh,
place.
I like that. I
know
like
what I
that.
mean?
I'm gonna go watch Rocky and Delirious. Those are
And that's
both-
what you do, man. You
Yeah.
gotta, sometimes you gotta refuel. That's why I read The Secret over again every now and then.
Okay.
You know, because everybody
I
needs
read
it.
the Master Key System once a year. It's Charles F. Hannell. Similar, same sort of principles. Just every week is a different. I think it's 24 lessons, and every week it just gives you
refuels
something.
that positivity.
Gives you something to refuel and reflect on and meditate on once a year.
That's what I think that's why we connect, man. It's that positive energy,
Yeah, man.
and I know something's gonna happen. Like it's like taking a chance with this, even though the pandemic hit. And at first I was like, and then I thought, well, you know what? It's how you look at it. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna do the things that I wanted to do. Man, we're gonna do the things we wanted to do,
Right.
but I couldn't because I was busy. So I said, I'm gonna start this podcast.
Yeah.
And I came in for a podcast here for somebody else, and Wyatt said, hey man, I think blah blah blah. And I said, okay, man, let's give it a shot. And I've been coming there ever since. And it basically cost me, but I looked down the line. I said, you know what? It's gonna work for us.
Yeah,
It's gonna work for us, and that keeps me going. And like I said, just talking to you now.
Right.
I just feel that Osmo, like, okay, things are good. Like when you said, because honestly, I really thought, I was like, man, his boys coming in, they're going to hang out. And I got it. Like I said last night, I'm probably going to see him again because I posted a thing on Instagram and you're like, yo, man, it was good seeing you. I thought, okay, yeah, that's his way of saying he ain't going to see me.
That's funny.
And so then you call me, I go, oh, shit, Dean, we're going to hook up. And that's when I hit Wyatt. I go, Wyatt, he's going to hook up. So,
yeah, if I said I was going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Well,
You're my people.
man, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, dude. I appreciate you. I know how it works on the road. You got to go out and get your alone time, and I appreciate you dropping in, and we did this impromptu show. Man, I appreciate this more than you will ever know.
I appreciate you having me, and everything happens for a reason. So you just reminded me to go. As I'm preparing this material, I'm gonna go watch Rocky because I think anything you decide to do in life, you gotta maintain being a fan of it. And I'm still a fan of it. You're still a fan of comedy, and we look for inspiration wherever we can get it. So I'm looking forward to like watching. My wife actually just asked me about Rocky. What's up, though? Peace. My wife asked me about Rocky. She was like, when you watched Rocky as a kid, who did you root for, right? I said that's funny you say that, because if you black coming up, you were rooting for Apollo just because he looks like you, right? And because he had swag and he was cocky and outspoken like Ali. So you rooted for him. But I tell you the moment you also were digging Rocky's journey, right?
Right.
You had more vested in Rocky's journey because he was coming from nothing and he had nothing. And then I'm getting goosebumps,
Yeah,
right?
man.
The moment you believed how much mental fortitude Rocky Balboa had was when and that music's playing and they're fighting and Rocky had just got knocked down.
Yes.
And Apollo's cheering. And then Rocky got up and Apollo turns around.
Look.
And he looks at him like, wait, what?
That look.
And he still won the fight.
But the subtleness of that, and that's where his acting is underrated because the subtleness of his like,
yeah,
this
dude.
motherfucker.
Dude, that's such a dope
subtleness.
scene. I just had this conversation.
The subtleness of him, like, what have I got to do to take this guy out?
Yo, he's like, I knocked you down how many times? What?
As hard as I could, I gave you everything, and he's still getting up.
Stay down.
And we're gonna go to my favorite movie. And also, this is a dope ass scene because you did an impression in Tampa in this. And one of my favorite movies is Predator. And in Predator, I wish I could do. I still try to do that. I can't do that. But when he goes, when Arnold goes, what happened to you, Dutch? You pushed too many pencils.
Pushing too many pencils.
And he goes,
no.
He goes, I got smart, Dutch. Maybe you should too.
I got smart.
Remember that?
Why don't you?
He goes, this don't make no sense. And Arnold figured it out that he was double crossing him.
Yeah.
And he goes, I got smart, Dutch. He did it like this.
Yeah.
I got smart.
He got
Dutch.
cocky headed.
But the best, he tried to make up for it. The best in that movie, he tried to make up for him being a dick.
Right.
He goes, you go ahead, Dutch. I'll stay back. He goes, he goes, you can't win this one, Dylan. And he goes, I know, Dutch, but maybe this time I can make it even. And Arnold gave it a look like, you ain't gonna make it.
Dude.
Man. And after that, the Predator being the dick that he was, he cut his hand off. And to be a dick, then he disemboweled him. I mean, seriously, man. And the thing about that movie is, I used to do a whole thing about the Predator was the first alien Republican serial killer because he was pro-life because he didn't kill that woman because she had a baby. She had a baby. Even though she had a gun, he goes, oh man, I love kids. Basically said, I love kids. I can't kill her, right? And think about it. And he was black. Let's get it straight. The Predator was black. He was 6'9", dreadlocks. He had a high ass.
He played in
high
the
ass.
NBA.
And he got in a fist fight in the woods. That sounds like a brother to me. Fist fight in the woods. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's funny.
Right? He's the first Republican alien serial killer.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, Alien Predator, but Alien 2. Predator is a movie. I don't care how many times I've seen it. If it's on, if I get back to the hotel and it's on TV right now, even though I should take my comedy nap, I will watch that movie from start to finish. You'll watch Predator if it's on. You know you will. You know
Predator
Predator
and the Jason Bourne series.
The Bourne series,
Jason.
All the Jason Bournes. Alien 1 is dope, but Aliens, no man, we're not gonna make it, man. Get away from her, you bitch! Like you just, moments.
Dude, I can talk Predator all day, and also let me tell you something. Predator versus Aliens, right? From what I've watched in documentaries, that's basically a documentary because Antarctica. It has the largest pyramid on Earth, and Antarctica wasn't always cold, and it wasn't always snowy, and the hieroglyphics in Antarctica show where there's big creatures, and they're fighting somebody that came, like basically came down, and that's documented. Basically, they had battles down in Antarctica, and that's a documentary. It really is, man.
I actually out of those Alien versus Predator movies, that's the one that I'm like, all right, this one was.
Dude, let me tell you, and the fact that he tried to hit on that black girl, that's what I did in my bit. He tried to hit on that black girl because remember she saved his life.
Yeah, so now I had a fatty though. So now I was thick.
And that's what Predator said. Remember they were walking together. Remember and like because you see her go no, because he was trying to holler at her. He's like, and she was like no. No, I don't want no alien dick. Because she had to look like that because he was like, hey, I know you saved my life, but look here. Just me and you right now. Because she pointed out that the alien. Yeah. Remember, that's when he had, I think, that I don't know, flying saucer thing or whatever, and it split him in two.
He had like a round boomerang
with
blades
and it split him in two. And then he carved that thing out and he gave her that spear.
Yeah.
Remember? Oh,
he gave her the mark of his tribe.
How dope. Alien vs. Predator was an underrated movie. I could talk this shit all day, man.
That movie,
I mean that bottom of my heart. I know you got to go. I know Wyatt's ready to go. We went way over time, but man, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for this. You are nothing but a beacon of positivity.
Thanks,
much love. And I mean that. Much love to you. You're an inspiration to me, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. When I got home last night, I watched my motorcycle racing, and I was trying to write.
You were writing.
I was writing, and it's because of what you said, man. It's just, I think it's positively breeds positivity. So. Yeah. I wish you nothing but the best, but you don't need it, man. You got it.
I'll take it from wherever it comes. I appreciate you saying that, and for all your watchers, viewers, and listeners, make sure you check out every Monday night on Instagram. We have the Fathermucking Protocol, where I just interview some of your favorite comedians and some of the people behind the scenes in comedy. You know, and we've had everyone from Tiffany Haddish to Jim Gaffigan, Jay Farrell, Godfrey, Yamanika Saunders, Marina Franklin, like the list goes on. And there, we do them every Monday night. Tony Rock, Affion Crockett. You know, we just toss it up, and I really like getting under the hood of their vehicle and finding out what helps them run and what their journeys have been. And I don't know when this comes out, but this particular Monday coming up, we have my man Craig Robinson from The Office and Pineapple Express. He's going to be on with me, and it's a fun time, man. It's something I started doing about 24 weeks ago when we first realized that we were going to be in this for a couple of months, this pandemic, till mid-April, and then here we are almost to our 25th episode. My goal is, I'll put it out there, like I want to have Arsenio and Damon Wayans on. I think I'm going to just reach out to them via DM and see, because Damon is actually, a couple of my episodes, Damon comes on and just says, "What's up, fellas?" So I'm like, oh, so he does follow me, which was flattering, you know, because that's one. And I think Damon Wayans is one of those cats that people don't give Damon Wayans his just due, man, because Damon, I mean, his HBO half-hour comedy hour and Damon Wayans' Last Stand, dude. Those
I saw him get that put that together when I was in LA, and it was beautiful to watch him get that together.
Yeah,
and that pimp writing a movie, pitching that movie idea,
I remember,
dude. That was brilliant.
Yo,
that
Damon
was brilliant.
Damon is fire.
Yeah,
Damon is fire, dude. And that's not to take away from, because now, now we hear everybody's talking about Dave Chappelle, and Dave's the GOAT, and Dave is amazing on what he's doing out in what Dave Chappelle is doing out in
Yellow Springs, Ohio.
In Yellow Springs, Ohio.
Man.
He's doing a wonderful thing, man, and he just, he's giving space for artists to create and to put forth something prolific. And Dave is great and Chris Rock is great, but Damon is great too, dude. That dude still, I think Damon still has some fire in him, and I can't wait till he finally gets back on stage and lets people, just to remind people,
I'm still here.
I'm nice.
I'm still here.
Nice.
I still got
Damon
it.
Wayans beast mode, son. I might go watch Rocky and then watch Damon Wayans' Last Stand to get some inspiration, son.
I hope so, man. I hope I inspired you, brother.
Yeah,
and I
man.
mean
This
that,
is
man.
Great talk. Thank you. Thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you for being on my Tales from a Gemini. I try to bring everybody. I hope I inspired anybody out there watching. This is what I love doing, and I think it shows. I can't thank this man enough, Mr. Dean Edwards. Thank you so much, boy.
Thank you, Brethren.
And like we say about this time, peace.